Alright, hi everyone, John Marshall, the DrillMaster. Got my camera fixed. Okay, this is Air Force Junior ROTC from, I think, 2 years ago. Ben, all for you. Alright, judging on Training Circular 3-21.5, but there's also Air Force pamphlet information that needs to be in there. And so as we go along, I'll clue you in on that. And this is a training video for some college ROTC judges. All right, so notice the hands here. We've got flat fingers and flat fingers. Flat fingers are not authorized, so you got to cup your hand, and then you have to have that slight angle upwards, just like this cadet has. But we do that with just a natural curve or natural slant here. We don't do this. We have that neutral wrist, and we don't push the thumb down. The ulnar flexion, that would be called. All right, let's go on. Oh, I wanted to go over this. So you see here that the so right rifle guard here, you can see, yeah, you can see my cursor there. So right rifle guard, she has the butt of the rifle flat on the marching surface, and that brings the rifle forward. What she should be doing, so all three toes need to be aligned. Your two toes as you have your feet there, and then the toe of the butt of the rifle. All three should be aligned there. And actually both of the guards do, so I can see the barrel here as well. So what they both need to do then is pull the rifle back so that the thumb is along the seam of the trouser leg. Both have the V grip here. Both the bearers have the V grip, and that's good. The lower ferrule is at the pinky toe and right on the foot. Nice job going to, oh, wobbly. Holy cow. Definitely needs to be tightened. So that's center screw joint. There's either 2 or 4. The better staffs have the 4 little screws. They go one way here and then the other way. And then the other part of the joint, same thing, one way and then the other. And they've got to be constantly maintained. Put graphite powder on them, lock those suckers into place, and even put graphite powder on the screw joint itself and not just the little screws. And that goes for the upper and lower ferrules as well. The threads on the finial there, the spade finial that they're going to be using. Guards, let's go back. They've got chin straps down. That's awesome. Notice that the silver strap that's decorative only. The black strap that is worn at the back of the hat, that comes down, and it's worn at the chin, not at the throat. It's not a throat strap, it's a chin strap. And then the buckle should be on this part. Then you put the buckle to, you buckle the strap together so that the excess goes off this way. You fold the excess up, then you slide that keeper right down over so that it's flush. And that's how you do that. So the U.S. color bearer should have his harness socket a little higher because I'm going to probably be state, but it should be an organizational color. But JROTCs carry state almost all the time. And that goes into a long discussion, but I've written an article about it at my website. I'll try and remember and put the link below. But you can see the sockets are not aligned here, and they should be. The national is not supposed to be worn lower. It's supposed to be at as close to the same level, or it can be slightly higher, depending on the height of the color bearers. So national bearer here really should have had his socket adjusted a little bit higher. That would have been better. And guards, that's your responsibility. Now, it's everybody's responsibility, really. But guards, you're the ones who can stand out and look at both bearers and go, okay, we need to raise yours. That's not... No. So, and I know the sound kind of dips out right after, but the commander just said color guard 10 hut. I think he said 10 hut. Oh, so nobody says 10 hut anymore. It's tench hut for the Air Force and then attention for everybody else. But you're already at attention. We don't call a formation to attention that's already at attention. That doesn't make sense. You call fall in, your team moves into the area where they need to fall in, and then you're good to go. All right, so see how the left guard has thrown the butt of the rifle way out. It should be the angle of the rifle is across the body, dissecting the left shoulder and then at the right hip. But when you look at the plane of the rifle and the plane of the body, they should be parallel. And what he has is this. So it's a big, big difference here. Plus, the left guard, he doesn't stop. He doesn't articulate the movement. So the rifle should be brought up in one count, second count, third count. And that third count, the elbow needs to be tucked. He's going to have his elbow flying out there. And that's that type of thing. That's pulling the rifle with both hands to then put it on the shoulder. That's not appropriate. That you bring the rifle up, grab the buttstock, and then let go as you manipulate the rifle to your shoulder with just the right hand, and then the left hand meets the rifle. So we've got an elbow out front here, a hand too high. Grips should be completely closed fingers. So that's the Air Force technique that I was talking about earlier. Yes, they're going to use the procedures for Training Circular 3-21.5. That's the only one that has this case colors sequence here. So there's other parts of the sequence that are based on the Training Circular, but we're using the techniques of the Air Force. And one part of the sequence for that the Army teaches is that the left hand must be on the staff at the harness socket, and that thumb needs to be behind the staff, not in front. There's so many people who misunderstand those stupid drawings in the Training Circular, and they see this for this drawing and this for that drawing. It's a contractor who drew it and has no idea what he's doing. He was just following old drawings or drawings and even images and not paying attention, just doing whatever. And so we know that details matter, and that detail of thumb behind is a big detail. Staffs also should be slightly forward. What's slightly? Your guess is as good as mine. I suggest maybe 4 inches or so from the chin. You have your hand at the chin and you bring it out about 4 inches. So notice back here when, oh yeah, that's right, I have to pull it back. Watch the right rifle guard here. Notice how she just slightly pushes that shoulder forward. Shouldn't happen. Should keep that the top part of the T. You've got a T that runs from the forehead down to the crotch, and then shoulder to shoulder. And those shoulders should stay still. As you take the rifle off, you pull that butt in, push it to the port position, not higher. Go to the port position, come up, place that rifle on the hip. Legs shouldn't move. Many times the right leg, the knee just pops right out, and for some reason, but that's not the procedure for moving to sling arms. Doing a nice job here. A little bit out of sync. That was good though. Nice job. And that was also good. That's a face in march, going off in either direction for the guards. And that was Very good, team. Very good. So color bearers came out using present guidon, or no, sorry, this is raised guidon. Then they go to present guidon, and then they pull it the staff in, which is fine. I can understand that with the weight of the color, the case. Just imagine if there were award streamers on there. So coming out Air Force Technique. This is coming out to raised guidon. This is coming out to the Army's raised guidon. So you come out here, bring the staff down, and then pull that in, and then use both hands to smoothly unfurl the staff. Nice job, guards. Good. Nicely in sync. And then the colors start to unfurl. See how both colors are nice and smooth, and see here also they're raising slightly. It's not turn up, turn up, turn, and just that's awkward. It looks really poor. This is so much better. These are 3x5 colors. Really should have 3x4, but those can be a little bit more expensive because they're not, there's less material, so they should be less expensive, but the machines are set up to make 3x5 colors, and that's the civilian size. So every flag manufacturer makes 3x5 like that. Not a big deal. When 3x4 comes around, then especially with the Florida flag here, it has to be the image has to be reduced to fit that size. Just can't. I don't think you could take off a few inches from each side. I don't think that would work. We'd have to ask Professor Flag and see what happens, because he's made plenty of flags in his day. All right, but the bearers doing an excellent job, going right into carry. Excellent. That's excellent. So many teams will bring the staff down to order and then call another command or just bring it up or whatever. But you go from the unfurled position, even just slightly higher, which is just fine. But that smoothness that these bearers accomplished, that's exactly what you want. And then bring the staff up into the harness socket, and nicely done. Going to present that left hand coming across, going to go, that's it, good. Notice the salute here. Notice the salute. Left hand on top of the right to the salute, and then finish the salute. Some people think that from here you have to drop the hand, then go up, then go back down, and then back to the sling. That's not the case. A salute is initiated from anywhere. Then we drop that salute to finish the salute. So nice job. And they're carrying the cases as a book. They're carrying them like this instead of like that. And tucking the cases into the belt. That's an excellent job. Hey, Judge, come on, we're recording here. Obviously, he doesn't know, but that's okay. Reaching through, that's good. So, boy, this team is doing such an excellent job. Now, of course, they've got a couple of things here that mosquito bite, I think I've got. They've got a couple of things that they need to tighten up here and there, but still really doing an excellent job as far as the procedures are concerned. So notice that, and we'll see this a little bit later, but notice that they tucked the case. I'll use my blue cloth here as the case, and my hands are the belt. Notice they tucked the case into the belt, not over the belt. All right? Into the belt. That's what this means. And they did a great job. Make sure your case is squared off, top and bottom, and then evenly spaced top and bottom with the belt there in the middle. Then immediate going back to tighten slings. Now some people think, I'll get to the rest of the video here. I know I can talk, but you need to know some stuff. Many people think that the commander needs to give the command unsling arms. That's it. So unsling arms is actually, if you give sling arms, what's unsling arms? Well, sling arms is to loosen the sling and put it on your shoulder. Unsling arms means to take the rifle off your shoulder and bring it to order with the sling loosened. So unsling arms isn't the command. Actually, there's no command here that is supposed to be given. It's supposed to be automatic. And notice that the guards didn't come up. They didn't stop and then whip the rifle out. Now, I know that's the thing today because it looks so good and so cool and so sharp. It's just not the technique. So reaching through, pulling the rifle out, coming to this position, tightening that sling. That's what good. Now see, again, with that certain, the manual of arms techniques here are not being executed well. And then also bring it to the port arms position, not any other kind of angle. It's the port arms position. Grab the butt of the rifle, pull it up.
Colors. Ma'am, color guard number FL-922 from Gold.
Nice job.
Reporting in for the TC3-21.
Now, when we go to present, it's present colors or arms, either one. But usually it's just colors, and then slide that hand down. So, Florida Bearer, what you should have done is present colors and pop that out. It's one count out, and then the command really should be carry colors. Carry, or actually you stay out. Carry colors. So it's bring it back and then slide that hand down. But when you bring it back, you're going to bring it back so that there's, remember that 6 or 4 inch distance. So both of your staffs are at the same angle. Staff angles need to match to the right. Excellent job there. That was good.
Forward, march.
Now, colors reverse. There's a couple of different methods. Well, actually, there's probably like 20. People just keep inventing whatever they want to do. There we go. All right, so...
March.
So timing here, not exactly the best... yeah, definitely needs some work. And of course, this is 2 years old, but still. So the colors reverse is supposed to be a series of face-in march movements. A face-in march is a pivot on the right foot's platform. Now that's the ball of the foot and everything forward. It's not on the... We don't pivot on the toe. A ballerina pivots on the toe. We pivot on the right foot platform. So when both the guards executed that face-in march to go out to uncase the colors, what the right rifle guard did is pivot slightly and then bring that left foot out and start marching out at that angle. What the left guard did is to pivot a little more, going over to the left, going out, so they moved out at an angle. That's a face-in march. Well, a face as in marching, I think that the training circular uses. I like the shortened term face-in march. It just works. And a little easier to remember. So the face-in march here, see how they stop. These two stop, but the right rifle guard doesn't stop. The right rifle guard's actually marching and executing left flanks. So is that correct? Yeah, because a left flank actually happens to be a face-in march as well. And she doesn't need to stop because it's so many steps forward, then execute that flank. But what these two need to do, they need to stop because it's just one step forward. She's taking, I think it's one, yeah, it's 2 steps forward. So they have to miss each other and then go across like that. And then notice that the commander executed a face-in march from the halt, stopped, and then executed the turn. 7, 8, excellent job keeping the spacing through the wheel. Then we can see a nice view of the colors reversed there. That was very good. Now, remember, timing here needs to remain the same the entire time. Whether you are going through marching forward, marching in place, marching at the wheel, half step. So that I'm not a fan of. And I'll tell you why. We don't slam our colors down. We don't, and there is no need to pause and then finally put the colors down. We've perfected movement in JROTC to the nth degree so that everything is exactly the same as much as possible. When technically, right now, what the national bearer needs to do, the commander, is he needs to pull the flag out from behind the staff so that it hangs freely. But we don't do this in competition. It all has to be very, very confined into this box that JROTC calls color guard, when in reality there's things that are much, much different. I noticed that the spades are a little angled, so they definitely need spade markers. Another article that I've written at my website that will help them with feeling a device, a mark on the staff, and then also seeing another device that was about 6 or 8 inches higher on the staff. It used to be that, and the the Marine Corps still uses thumbtacks, silver thumbtacks, because the silver matches the metal pieces. But again, pulling the going to that pause and then setting it down. Sure, it's so it sounded like he said a 10 hut. So it shouldn't be a 10 hut. It should be 10 shut. We're still going to use that Air Force technique of calling to attention. We're not going to lose everything Air Force, even if some people want to, or actually try to force Air Force JROTC units to do that. We're not going to give up all that Air Force tradition just because. So when going to parade rest, though, bearers, so the guide on another article I've written, the guide on staff manual and the flag staff manual are very similar, but they differ because of the type of flag that's attached. So on the command of parade, the right arm is supposed to slide up the staff, but then stay there. For a guide on staff, the command is rest, and then you push the staff out. That's the guide on staff. But for the flag staff, it's going to be parade, hand slides up. Remember, hands at the V, hand slides up so that the forearm is horizontal. Now, if I keep my elbow at my side, which I'm supposed to do, then that's going to push the staff a little forward. So what I suggest is not keeping your elbow at the side. Slide the hand up the staff and keep the staff as vertical as possible. And then you have that elbow slightly behind. You don't push a flag staff forward at parade rest ever. And you never push the American flag staff forward ever. So for a present arms in a low ceiling area, that Florida would actually go forward. But that's present arms. Nice job on the carry again. That really is color bearers. Really good job.
Forward, march. Right wheel, march.
5, 6, 7, 8. Now, left guard, you're concentrating. You're not swinging that arm through the movement. A wheel takes about 8 steps. That's a good rule of thumb to remember. But let's go back.
Right wheel, march.
Yeah, I thought so. So, right rifle guard is actually moving forward just a bit. So the command is right wheel, march. That first step is when everybody goes into the wheel. But the first step for the guard is a mark time step. Right wheel, march, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then turning that 90 degrees. So the right guard here is actually making a small arc, just tiny enough. So instead of anchoring the team to one spot, the anchor is actually floating along just a little bit with the team. So that's a muscle and visual memory thing, and it's a little bit more difficult to break when you're so used to it. Now, tempo for the Air Force is going to be anywhere from 100 to 120 beats per minute. You can get a loud metronome. I like any metronome apps, no problem. But there's a space on the metronome app where you can tap it out. I'm turning on my phone, so you can tap out the cadence, and then look, and you won't tap it out perfectly, but it'll give you the generic reading. And I'm going to say that the team is probably marching around 100, maybe a little slower. So try Air Force teams, try and hit 110. That's the middle of the range. 116 is the middle of the range for Marine Corps, Navy, Coast Guard. And then Army teams, you're gonna hit 120. So you have that. You still have a window. Army teams still have a window, but there's the service tempo ranges really need to be met in the middle, so that you have a little bit of leeway either way.
Forward, march.
So notice the commands, and I've been listening to the commander. Notice that he's saying forward, march, and you shouldn't drop the first command. The command of execution needs to be higher and louder, but that first command there, which the name slips my mind, should be forward. It should come up. That's called inflection. So forward, march. Now I say march. Air Force, we say march. He's saying march. That's fine. Not a big deal. The H is there for projection. So it should be forward, parade, right. So have to have that inflection in there. And when we have words that have the two parts to them, it's very common. And even I've done it for many years. Present arms instead of present. So it, kind of a hard habit to break, but definitely need to have that inflection there.
Right wheel, march.
And the guard's belt here on the left
Forward, march.
is drooping down so much. It needs to be tightened so that it doesn't droop so much. So notice how the Florida barrack went out and then angled back over. The perfect colors reverse is going to have 90-degree angles everywhere, so that you're not marching back into place at an angle. You're marching a complete square. It's tough to do, but it can be done with enough practice.
Forward, march. Eyes, right, ready, one. Left wheel, march.
Good job, Commander.
Forward, march.
Now you sped up
Left wheel, march.
a little bit more. When you were doing the right wheel in that area before,
Forward, march.
it was, you were going through a time warp or something. There was something kind of holding you back.
Forward, march. Color guard, hold.
So, and saying color guard halt. That's an Air Force thing. Everybody else says colors halt or colors attention. But unfortunately, the Air Force has decided that color guard is the preparatory command. So when we're at port, and sorry, I don't have my equipment with me. We're packing up the house, getting ready to move. But when you're at port, the upper receiver, the metal of the upper receiver is where that pinky, the left pinky, needs to be. When you're at present, it needs to be at exactly the same level. Of course, you just turn that hand. So we can see the upper receiver is right there, the end of the upper receiver. So right rifle guard's hand needs to be moved down so that the pinky is right there. Same with, there's the upper receiver right there, there's the end. So, a couple inches or so, something like that. Also, the rifle needs to be 4 inches from the sternum, that breastbone there. That's where the rifle rests when at present, when at port. So 4 inches from the sternum. Now, with females, you just take a guess. Guys, just put that hand right there and pull the rifle in, push it out, whatever you need to. But that's, we've got much too close here, and it looks like a little close here too. Also, right rifle guard, push that butt out, not your butt, but the rifle butt out, so that the upper part of the rifle is vertical, just like this.
Carry, colors,
That was it. Good. Carry colors.
swing, arms.
Now notice here, remember what I was saying, go to the port position. When you bring the shoulder off when you bring the rifle off the shoulder to that first position, that's the port position. It's not port arms. When you bring the rifle up to the port position from order, that's the port position. Now, the port position is the rifle at port, but your hands are either here or here at that first count. But then the second count, if you're just going to port, moving your hand to the smallest stock, that is port arms. But the rifle needs to be at the port position whenever it is in front of your body, even transitioning in between from shoulder to shoulder, shoulder to order, shoulder to sling, etc. But see how high the left guard has that rifle up there as he transitions there to nicely done. That's good. There's several ways of the guards getting back around behind the color bearers, but that seems to be the most efficient. Take a step back, a side step in.
Order, arms.
Good.
Case, the colors.
So here, notice, this is guards, you're doing great. It's just like you listened to me years ago. So when the guards first go in to uncase the color, they move to right next to the color bearer so that they can take care of the tie, the knot, whatever it is on the case. But here, when they're moving towards the colors to case them, they first need to furl them. So coming to centered on the colors is exactly what they should do. And I just put out a video just a week ago that to where I explain, if you have colors like this, guards, you can pull the flag material up so that you get the bottom corners. You hold the bottom corners and the case, and then you use your fingers to guide, as the flag is being furled, you guide the material there. Now, I've seen people pop the material constantly thinking that's really sharp. It's not. That's disrespect to the flag. So you're going to be as gentle and professional as possible, but you can hold those bottom corners and make sure that the flags are as wrinkle-free as possible. Now, notice, Florida, you were much too fast here. You caught up to U.S., but then you passed U.S. You should finish at the same time. And spades are flat. Excellent job. And you're going to pop open. Nice. And you kind of pop the end so that the case hangs, and that you got to feel out the case on how to get that and be as efficient efficient as possible. And look how the technique there, simultaneous, really well done. So here, I don't recommend marching back into to the spot, just that one step, and then executing about face, because unless you want to work it out to where you have feet going this way and then feet going that way. So this is the color bearer, this is the left guard. He's facing to the rear, and if you're going to stop past him so that when you turn around, your feet are the same, your heels are on the same line. If you stop centered on him, about like this, with slight overlap, then you're going to turn around and both of the guards are going to be slightly in front. A lot of teams will take a couple of steps and they'll go one step in line, then one step past, close, about face, and then step back into line so that you're aligned and centered well. And I think that's probably the better solution on getting back into position. You can see here, reach through for grabbing the rifle and tightening the sling, going back to port.
Customers, march!
You know, honestly, this is impressive.
Forward, march!
So right rifle guard, you're bending your elbow. Actually, both guards are. So make sure you lock that elbow. Nicely done. Nicely done. All right. So as I was mentioning, lock that elbow. Now that doesn't mean to lock it out so that it's your ruler straight. Not at all. You have a slight natural bend in your elbow. If you physically have a natural bend in your elbow, lock your arm in place and then just swing. However much the bend is, that's no problem. Some people have their arm hang straight down. They have a little bit more of a hypermobile joint. Fine, not a problem. All right, excellent run. And actually, I remember that from a couple years ago or so. That was nicely done, and I hope this training is helpful to your classmates, Ben. I appreciate it. If you have any other needs, just let me know, and I'll critique whatever colors or drill team or anything like that. I appreciate it. Thank you.